Don't link it, your boy Ink. Welcome to another review, another episode of Scott Pilgrim. Gotta say, I'm in love with the show, and so far has been nothing but phenomenal. We reviewed the trailer yesterday. We reviewed the first episode today. Yesterday again. We'll be reviewing episode 2 and 3 together, but I'll make two separate videos. That way, if you're only at episode 2, I'll have your back, and if you're only at episode 3, then you can have the whole day. Without further ado, fucking let's say go. Matthew. So the episode ended with Matthew banging the shit out of a Scotty. His name is Scott Pilgrim, and I'm gonna call him Scotty because I don't give a shit, right? Matthew think because he won versus Scott, Ramona, she come back to him, right? And again, when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe this is the angle of the league, right? We learned that the league has its own rules, so it could have been a way. But then again, we know Ramona was single, so it didn't stop the what stopped the league from making a move, right? Amazing effect. There's amazing effect. Yeah, the effects are super cool. They're super fucking. They're just nice. The special effect they do, the animation, it's just a good show, and it's not complicated. It's not extravagant. It's just a normal, but in a good way. It's very endearing, very kitsch, very niche, but we love it. Nobody cares about him being destroyed. Everybody just leave. Knife slept through it all, right? Which serves as two purposes. Not understanding that Scott is with Ramona, or at least he wants to be with Ramona, and then that's pretty much it. I slept through it all. And Scott they disappear, right? There's cool retro intro, and we know the episode is gonna be about Ramona. And what I do love about the show, and I gotta say, not necessarily that it was missing from the original, but it's Scott Pilgrim versus the world, and it's all for Ramona. But what does Ramona think through all of this? In the movie, we never had Ramona perspective, and it's easier to make one main character, which is John C. Michael Cera, Scott Pilgrim, but having duality between Scott and Ramona is interesting over here. And we got the first scene, which is dyeing your hair, which is something that's gonna come right away. And then you see her wearing black, and you boy got a thing for goth girls. So like, ooh, goth mommy, but no, right? It's Harashin, extra cute. We see Ramona going to church with Wallace, right? And now, okay, so this is gonna sound stupid and inside, but I'm writing the notes I took, and you see Wallace wearing black, you see Ramona wearing black, and like, oh shit, maybe they're mourning Scott, and then you realize it's a fucking funeral, right? It's very obvious, but at the time I was like, holy shit, maybe it's a funeral, right? They talk about how Scott was always winning fights, right? And because they're like, why did he fight against Matthew? He was clearly stronger, but Scott always won fights, right? And there's one case where we're gonna see it in episode 3, where is only like so far it's only quote unquote retail experience that he fought, right? Fight the whole band was always winning. Fight the whole band, they're all there, right? And it's super important because at this point, Scott is being said, oh, he's a wonderful fighter, and the main character of the book is Scott. So Scott is supposed to be this amazing fighter, but we haven't seen him fight once. And when we did see him fight, he lost. So having this as saying that, oh, he had multiple battle is still something we need to see. We need to be proven, right? Review Ramona. Knife is crying, right? She see Ramona, their enemy. The full church is kind of crazy because again, a fight in a church is not something we see, but something that probably happens, right? The church is a church drama, right? Julie, shitmouth Julie, I'm gonna call her. She talks about it, and I know it sounds like I hate Julie, but she's being played by Aubrey Plaza, which is, and that's what I really like from, I really care about since I saw her beginnings in Park and Recs, right? And you're seeing her, and Aubrey, she's just like this. She's probably a really nice person, but the way she's acting, the way she talks, you just want to say fuck you, because again, it's direction to the character she plays. She's not a bad person, but she acts like she doesn't give a shit, and she's always like, it's funny. It's she's a really good actress. Don't know why, but it's your fault. when she said Knife said to it's your fault, and I don't know why, but when she said it's your fault, it made me think of Nikocado Avocado, the way she said it, right? We have the intro narrator, into the narrator, because we see a superstar, right? Which is Envy Amber, right? Which is it's kind of something. It's really a good scenario. Like, um, there's a really big reason why she's there at the end. But for now, what is important is that she's one of Scott X's, right? And she's becoming super popular. And we're seeing that all or almost all of Ramona's X are really popular. So if I was a betting man, we don't know how much Scott has dated, but what if we had a League of Evil X's for Scott, which is the season two, hopefully. The church is almost it's becoming super dark, almost cultish. And the Adams, she's super popular, right? Everybody in the church, she loves her. They love her. She's being called mommy by one of the peeps, right? And again, it's super cringe. It's like a single joke, but the fact that they put this in the show, and the fact that I think it's super funny. They're young adults. I'm not expected to say, "Oh my dear," right? I think it called Scott the least important chapter of her whole life, which is nutty. A super nice song. Again, the animation is really cool. Dude, it's really such a good way. And now we're seeing all of Ramona X's. They're getting a letter. One, two, three, four, five. And at first I thought might have been Ramona that sent the letter, but we later learned it was Matthew. Right? They're all invited to get in their own place. I wrote for Fortnite as a joke, it's not for Fortnite. Ramona's in the church, she basks in light. And it's a really cool moment, right? She basks in the light, you see her saying to Scott, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna miss you. And you can tell she cares about Scott, and the way the light shines on her, she's kind of special. And Ramona's a really well written character. I really, really like her. Uh, she when Scott E was left, he disappeared. Somebody left some coins, and they left coins on the basket, which is kind of cool. Um, we got the elevator. Scott coin. New York X city of Ramona. We see the Lee. We see a X is going to this city. He meets. I wrote down Lee X number. It doesn't really matter. I thought it was going to be a ranking, but not really, right? Then you meet Todd, which is the vegan, and again, back in the days, Todd wasn't a really big thing, right? So veganism was something of a myth back then. The elevator brings them to Secret Lair, right? Kind of cringe, but cute because there's a elevator. The show is full of cringe moments that actually are endearing, right? Todd Vegan X, Lee Star X, both star, right? Todd brag about vegan power right away, which comes into play later on, because if you know the movie, he has vegan power, right? Again, something that not a lot of people knew back then. Intro Ninja X, right? Which is super important in the next episode. Sweet Lair, Lee, which is an actor, the action character, he's super douchey, he's super chattish, and he tells to Gideon, which is the evil the leader of the evil lair of the evil league. He says, "Oh, sweet lair, bro," and they fucking kill me. It was so funny. We learned that Matthew Patas, which was the first fight, he invite them, right? He acts all evil and shit, and I wrote evil and ish. Two of X are twins, which I thought was pretty cool. We got Matthew one shot a robot. We don't know the robot what he had to do. We don't even know what is the role of the robot here, but it's there. And we learn that the robot later on, he has red eyes, and whatever scene we're seeing are red. That's the way Gideon followed Ramona. Chat Robot says leadership sucks, right? Matthew says beat up Scott, no reward. Because he said, I beat up Scott, there's no reward. Where's my fucking reward? Right? And ultimately, what it also proves is that the league is there's no clear definition for the league, right? Ninja X, she's a big fan of Andy Adam, and that's how we know for Scott. So Scott was actually like somebody nobody knew, but the X Ninja X, she's like, oh, I'm a fan of Andy Adam. It does show that, okay, well, guess what? I do care. I do like Envy, so I know about Scott, and it's a showcase of a cool introduction, right? She's vegan, he's now dating Envy, so that could play a role. Gideon, like, nope, there's a rank, there's a hierarchy. Even if you wanted to, even if Matthew he beats Scott, he gets nothing because he's lower rank. Maddie wants to fight Gideon, right? And every ex are like, yo, yeah, fight, which means they don't really care about each other. They're on good terms, but they don't really care. The terms are Matt. If Matt wins, all of Gideon things are is, right? Gideon wins, Matt has to die, right? The fight scene was super cool. There's not a lot to say here because it's a fighting scene, but they do the fights to dance, right? And what I'm gonna say, I don't mean for it to sound racism or racist, but so Matthew, we know he's Indian, and all of his move and all of his ability are like Shiva, and all of it is a lot of reference to the Hinduism, which is super cool. So again, it's kind of cool that we're seeing possibly the vegan has power like that. The ninja who was an ex as she's fighting as a ninja, and this guy who is a dancer, and we know he's a dancer. He dances his move all the way to victory, right? Because he does win. Naturally, he's able to summon demon. We don't know why, but hey, it's a fucking anime, it's a comic. Get over it, right? Gideon, he's strong. He resists a lot of the fights, right? We got Matthew who's playing basket during the fight. We don't know why. Again, if there's weird power from Maddie, which is Matthew. We don't know why. Gideon gets completely destroyed because Gideon is super strong, but he doesn't really have power like Matthew has, which is indeed a super good like ability. Why am I hurt here? Um, would just beat Scott is super important level wise. Matthew would just beat Scott is super important because if Gideon is able to destroy Matthew, then Scott was weak. But because Matthew won over Scott, Gideon Matthew is a good example of Scott power. Patel, they go to the roof, right? Matthew Patel, he push Gideon Uzaninging by the roof, right? Patel, he wins, he spare Gideon. So, it's kind of cool because the fact that he spare Gideon could be a redemption arc for Gideon, right? We're gonna be seeing more of that in the later episode. Become main villain. They're all villain now follow math, so you can see that there's a hierarchy and they follow the hierarchy, no matter if they like the guy or not, right? Back to Ramona and her cat. She remembers Scott, and then she's found because she's in the same apartment, and she's reliving the same evening, right? She misses Scott. She travels to the space subway, right? And she hears Scott, right, which proves that he's alive. There's a cool song outro. The reason why I wrote cool song outro is there might have been a outro song for every single episode, which is basically one of the songs they made. Yeah, that was the episode. Super fucking good, super enjoyable. I actually really loved it, and the show is chef kisses. Love you guys. Peace.